The hub was a dome-shaped building at the center of the city. On its top floor, a concourse of small stores formed a ring around open cafes. Tall trees in the central garden reached up toward the skylight. Jena's office was on the second level of the concourse. 4 cream-colored walls surrounded a wooden desk with a single glass panel situated in the middle, and blinds on the windows segmented the sunlight. Jena breathed out a sigh. One good thing about life as a justice keeper was that it offered you a fair amount of variety. She could set her own hours, prioritize her own agenda, and that would have been wonderful if there was some actual work for her to do. No one came to Belos. Most of the time, she was the only keeper on this planet. There simply wasn't much of a demand for one. The colony was little more than a few cities spread out on the coastline of the northeastern continent. Perhaps 200,000 humans lived here. The presence of flora and fauna identical to that found on Lyria suggested this world had been modified by the overseers to support a human colony. But if humans had ever lived here before Lyrian colonization, no sign of them remained. With such a low population, any black market presence was minimal, and anything that did crop up could be handled by local security. The glass panel on her desk was aligned vertically to serve as a computer access terminal. She tapped it and watched its clear surface burst alight with an array of icons on a field of green. Jena closed her eyes, leaning her head against the cushion of her seat. She took a deep breath. "Another day in the biz," she said, nodding. "What's in the report this time? Maybe some jaywalking." She tapped an icon to bring up the local sheriff's report. Black text scrolled across a field of white, with mugshots next to each description. Jena skimmed through them with half-hearted interest. Touching the screen with splayed fingers, she flung the window aside to leave the app running. Her desktop reappeared. Space telemetry might be more interesting. She checked the results. 7 ships had passed through the Belos system in the last 5 days, most only staying long enough to drop off supplies. 1 passenger liner had brought tourists along with a few immigrants, and... what was that? Pursing her lips, Jena narrowed her eyes. "That can't be right," she said, shaking her head. "Where in bleakness did that come from?" Long-range telemetry revealed a ripple in slip space, about a dozen light-years from here. Usually the only thing that caused something like that was a passing ship, but this was much fainter than the kind of disturbance caused by a ship at high warp. Something interesting, perhaps.